So if a woman, an actual woman, right, have a problem with you carrying yourself as one, being a trans, what's your opinion? How you feel about that?
I would not understand why they care. Are
Okay.
they only reason I would think of is ignorance, like I said before,
Okay.
or that they feel intimidated.
Welcome to another episode of Let's See Plants podcast, where we have real conversation with real people. And today we have a special guest. She is part of the transgender community. Welcome, Victoria Giselle. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's Victoria Giselle, but thank you.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, my bad. I'm
No, it's
fucking up
okay.
already. Let's get straight to it. So, you being a trans woman, I want to ask you this: if I say a trans woman is a woman, do you agree or disagree, and why?
Well, when you say as a trans woman, a woman, I would say I definitely agree. And because, as a trans woman, you are a woman. Now, I will say there are specificities of it.
Okay.
If that's the right word. Now, there are different, variations of a woman. There is a cisgender woman and a trans woman. So they are different, but they are both considered women.
Okay.
Yes.
Some women feel, well, I ain't gonna say, well, people and women, well, say hand in hand, they may feel, okay, you're not a woman because you wasn't born with a uterus. You can't carry a baby, stuff like that. So what is your response to that?
Well, like I said previously, so a trans woman and a cisgender woman, it is different. So I'm going to say that as a trans woman, no, I can't carry children. But I am still a woman, a trans woman. So there are differences within that.
So correct me if I'm wrong. So basically it's just a different.
There's different categories to a woman, yes.
Okay, so you don't see yourself as a natural born woman.
No, because I'm not a natural born woman.
Okay.
But I do believe that since I was a child, since I can remember thoughts, that I do feel that I was in the wrong body. And I do feel like I was a woman. But I can't say that I came out the womb, born a natural born woman.
Okay. So what's your perspective when they say, okay, trans are women that's just disguising men as a man. What is your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts of that are that I believe it's ignorance. A lot of people that do say that, they are coming from an ignorant place, and they're coming from a place of not being knowledgeable, which is ignorance. So I would say that you have to do your research, because if you are coming from a place of not knowing, of course, when you see someone who may be, and I'm going to say someone in the beginning of their transition. So I'm going to say someone who may not be on hormones as much or on, blockers as much, which is when you block the male hormone. So I'm going to say that you may feel that they are not a woman.
Okay. Okay. Because
when they are.
I guess I'm not going to lie. Like, I think like that.
You think that way?
Yeah, but
Okay.
I want you to correct me. You know what I'm saying? I think like that because, like, I feel like, if I see a trans, like, sometimes I might can't tell right away, but if I can tell, I'm in my mind, okay, you still a man. Shit, you got a penis. That's how I'm thinking.
Okay.
And same with a woman. Like, if a woman's trying to be a man, I'm just like, still, you know what I'm saying? It's just my opinion. So yeah, so I know you feel like that's ignorance on the thing.
Okay,
like that,
so you feel that to get you, let's see if I get you correct. So what you're saying is you feel that when you see a trans person or a trans woman, you still feel that you're still a man.
Yeah,
Okay. So to my, what I'll say to that is they're not. They are a trans woman, so it's a difference. We were not born. If you're looking at the chemistry makeup of a trans woman, when we're born, we are born, we're born male at birth. But if you look at psychological, there's research out there that says that trans women, research says that we are women.
Okay.
And it shows that psychologically we think like women. A lot of times we are more feminine. A lot of times we are more drawn to more feminine things, as you see that a lot of trans women have a specific story. And not to, say every trans woman has their story, but a lot of trans women have stories of, being drawn to more feminine things. I know growing up for me, I wanted to play with Barbie dolls. I didn't want to play with action figures. And it was more like, I wish I looked like that. Not like a Barbie doll, like, the white one. But, like, I wish I looked like, with the feminine features. I didn't want to be playing, WWE and all that.
Got it. No, I see. Yeah, I see. But that's just like I said, that's how some people will think, and that's how I think. But I'm gonna be respectful.
So what makes you think that way? Like, what in life has shown you, like, who taught you that? Because it's taught.
Definitely. What was it taught? It's just me just thinking my own way.
Okay, so you think that you were born and you always had that thought about trans people? Or were you ignorant and you haven't done the research to know that trans women are women and that they are, psychologically, they may not be born women, but psychologically, they were women?
Well, I mean, you guess you can say I was ignorant for not, like, doing my research. Because, like, for, like I said, from my perspective, and not saying my perspective is right, but just my opinion, I just believe, shit, if you come out that womb, whatever you was born with, that's just who you are. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So you can change however you choose to change and live the way how you want to live. But at the end of the day, I mean, you can't change from a scientific perspective. You can't change of who you are. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, if I see somebody who's a trans, then if they was born a male or a female, that's why I'm gonna view you as, but I'm gonna be respectful about it.
Because there are also trans people who were born with more of the feminine hormones from birth. And there also are people who have had both the male and female, I'm not sure what it's called, I believe it's called intersex. So there are people as of that way as well. So do you feel intersex people have to pick a gender when they could be typically, have both anatomies?
Honestly, my opinion is just back to what you said, just on what you was taught. Like, depends on who in your household. So when you are born with these, see, I'm not really into that scientific shit. Mm-hmm. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But I know, like, what I know is just like shit. When it's just based on how you raised. So yeah, like for me, like I was raised by a masculine man, if I'm saying that right. So my father didn't allow me to act feminine, if that makes sense. So I'm not gonna lie, I would wear my mom's shoes and dresses, and my dad wasn't going for that.
You said you did wear your mother's shoes and dresses?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What made you wear your mother's shoes and dresses?
I don't know. I was a kid. I was playing with my sister. I didn't know any better. So, but my dad, you know what I'm saying? He just like, no, we're not doing that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what I will say is, I also have a very masculine father as well. And he's very accepting of me. Like, he is probably right now fixing something. Like, he's a handyman. He owns his own business. He's very, and not to say that, all masculine men have to be handyman. But I'm saying that if you're looking at the traditional role of a masculine man, he is that, So, I was not born with, but I was raised with my mom, dad, and my brother, so we had that typical upbringing. But, just to your point, I can understand that because a lot of, especially black men, grow up with this notion that, feminine things equate to, your sexuality, which doesn't make sense. And they also equate feminine things with crying when that has nothing to do with femininity. That's a human emotion. Yeah, because also they will let you express anger in the black community a lot of times. So let you express anger. They'll let you express, anger, rage, all those emotions. But when it comes to being sad or wanting to cry, now it's, don't be a bee.
Right.
Suck it up.
But they just go back to is that word you had said earlier, just ignorance.
Ignorance.
Like people.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, so people don't have the knowledge of balance.
No, they don't.
It's just like, okay, this is my opinion. I'm not saying my opinion is right. It's just my perspective. So what a father teaches his son how to be a man, sometimes they just don't have the knowledge of how to go about the certain situation. So I'm gonna give you a prime example. Most people believe there's a role that everyone has to play. Mm-hmm. There's a male role and there's a female role. Yeah. So in the male role, male roles don't play in makeup. They don't do these things. Right. So now they feel like a man. Sometimes they feel like, okay, I don't want my son be crying like a bee, like a bitch. Right. We don't just be straightforward. So in their mind, they feel like my son do this, then it might lead them to do this and this and this and that. Yeah. But they not thinking like, okay, I can allow my son to cry, but it's ways how to show him. So now, like you said, like most in the black community or men in general, they allow their son or themselves to be angry, and they think that's how to be a man. That's not
Yeah.
how that's not.
And what
how
I'm
it
also
is.
going to say too is that like, I do feel that I'm not going to blame the fathers. I'm going to blame that there is a systematic, reason for why, especially in the black community, male and female, we're not able to express ourselves in the way we would like to. We've always had to be really strong, and that goes back to slavery days. We've
Yeah, for
always had
sure.
to be, we've been through a lot. So, when I'm talking, to my mom about mental health concerns and things like that, she just told me the other day, she said, there's nothing wrong with you. And there is nothing wrong with me, but you can go through emotions and those things are important as well. So I do think, touching back to what you said, with, especially in black men, I do believe that it has to be more dialogue about it. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys can, be able to cry. And then I feel like when you're angry now, if it's like, I feel like honestly, because you're being stifled in your emotions, sometimes, this is my opinion, a lot of people will, when they see someone being free, like myself, and they're, being themselves, they may get angry with that because they wish that they could be freely
Of
themselves. And
course.
maybe not, they believe that they're trans, but it could be that they want to cry.
Of course, of course, of course. And my opinion on that part, I don't believe slavery plays a role in today's time.
Really.
Yeah. I feel like shit. We got to move on. We got to make some of our lives. Sometimes I believe it's the media that's, put shit in our heads that brings division and then have us thinking a certain way. So when you're a independent thinker, then you go against the grain, then they look at you like you're the problem.
Yeah.
what
I
I'm
understand
saying?
that opinion.
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
people feel that way, but I disagree with that opinion because I feel that from slavery times, there was a system called systematic racism that was established in that time where we were, less. We were think to be less than. We got less paying jobs, things of that nature. Now, what I will say is, black people now to this current time, we are billionaires. We have Oprahs. We have Jay-Z's. But what I will say is that we have Laverne Cox. We have people like that. But what I will say is that a lot of the times we love billionaires, right?
Right.
But they're like in the single digits. Like Jay-Z's worth, I believe, $3 billion. Don't quote me on that. But there are other wealthy who are white people who are worth in the hundreds of billions of dollars. And that is because during those times, we were not able to build wealth in that way because we've always been sabotaged in a lot of ways.
Right.
You could think of Black Wall Street. Check that out if you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, I heard of that before. But
So, just not to cut you off, but I do believe that, to your point, that, I can understand why a lot of people would think that it doesn't affect us anymore. But I do think there is a lot of things working behind the scenes
oh yeah, for sure.
that keep us, against one another.
And that's why
Yeah.
that's the media.
Yeah.
That's why I believe the media. You know what I'm saying? In our community, we have that crab in the barrel mentality. So yeah. So I want to ask you this. So like, if a straight man dates a trans woman, is he still straight?
I do believe that a straight man, if he dates a trans woman, is straight because
Really?
it depends on.
Explain that.
Okay, so it really depends on, I'm going to say, that person, and it depends on how that person may represent themselves, the trans woman. So there are trans women who are still very masculine.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a feminine trans woman to be trans. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I'm saying that even if a person is a trans woman who is more masculine, it depends on those gender roles that they want to play.
Right.
And not even gender roles, they are a trans woman, but more like, how do they want to be viewed? So I can't
Right.
speak on all trans women because all trans women aren't the same.
Right.
But I will speak on that. Yes, I do believe that, especially if, they are a feminine woman and they are a woman. They're a woman.
Yeah.
So I do believe that, yes, a straight man can date trans women and still be straight. There are plenty out there.
I'm like, I got to disagree with you on that one. Yeah.
So you've never seen a trans woman and you felt that they weren't feminine enough to be deemed as if they were, able to be a part of the heteronormative idea? Is that what you're saying?
Nah, I just feel like, if, like I said, just my opinion, but I'm always open to correct it before I say what I want to say. It's not that. I just feel like if a woman was born with a uterus, it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I feel that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's why it is different categories. But some trans women, they want to be, not saying this is you, but they want to be viewed as an actual woman with a uterus. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said like, nah, like not.
Well, I haven't met any of that since, so I can't
Okay.
speak for them.
Okay,
But I'm
okay.
going to say for me specifically, I am someone who knows that I was not born with a uterus.
Okay.
I do know that I was not born, biologically female. I know that I am a trans woman, and I will reiterate that, if that's the word, many of times, because, there is a difference,
Yeah.
in that sense.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So how can I explain this? I gotta ask you. So like, so if a woman, an actual woman, right, have a problem with you carrying yourself as one, being a trans, what's your opinion? How you feel about that?
I would not understand why they care. Are they, only reason I would think of is ignorance, like I said before,
Okay.
or that they feel intimidated by that trans woman. Like, how dare she, think that she can date the same man as me? I don't know if that could be it. And that's all tied into ignorance.
Okay.
I do believe that. Have you witnessed that from anyone you know? Women friends you may have, homegirls?
Nah, like little comments where they become like, well, they still a man because they got a penis. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
yeah.
Or,
So what if they don't have a penis? Are they considered a woman now?
that's a good question. That's a good question. Well, I mean, if they know, they'll still will believe that just because it's like you were still born with a penis, but you decided.
So the penis, them not having a penis wouldn't matter then, really. It's more of their mind. And a lot of times I feel that you can't change someone's mind if that's what they feel a lot of times, and if they're in that ignorance, they're not gonna change it.
Right, right. I mean, it just go back to what I said. Like some people, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna use me. I ain't gonna speak for other people. I'm gonna use me. I just feel like you can get your penis cut off. You can add a penis if you're a woman. However you decided to do. It's just like you still are who you are, because at the end of the day, it's just like from a mental and physical perspective, like you're not gonna know how it is to be a man or a woman, if that makes sense. And that's how some people believe and think sometimes, and that's why a lot of people be kind of like turned off or have their own opinion on that just because of that. You know what
Well, I
I'm
feel like a lot of times, I'm not gonna say everybody, but I'm gonna say like you
Yeah.
really have to live it to know that
True.
like what those feelings are and what that mentality is, and just psychological. Because honestly, the treatment that we go through, the judgment that we go through, the ridicule that we go through, sometimes it's really like no one really would choose that. You know what I mean?
That's why I think it's more
so it
different,
doesn't really
though.
make sense.
Yeah, it's different. It's different because, like, from a trans woman, an actual woman, what you go through, what your community go through. Do you mind if I say that community?
Yeah.
Okay. What your community go through, like, it's hate. People,
Yes.
like, you guys will get attacked.
Yes.
With a woman, it's not really. They don't really go through that. You know what I'm saying? They still. Don't get me wrong. They still have to worry about their safety because they can,
Well, cisgender women, and they don't like being called cisgender. A lot of cis women don't like being called that. But I'm
I'll
going
say
to
what
say
you
that
said.
so I can, have it abbreviated so you guys, But what I will say is that, a lot of cis women do go through things as well. They do go through a lot of, traumatic things. And I'm not going to just sit here and act like, they don't. But trans women do go through a lot of things as well. So we really should be more of sisterhood, because we all have been through sexualized,
Yeah.
not all of us. So we've been in certain situations where a lot of us can relate to certain things.
Okay. But some might disagree with that.
Some might.
Yeah, somebody might feel, some might have a feel because it's like I said, like a woman, like I can't speak for a woman, so I'm not a woman, but just I'm gonna have an idea. Like some women may feel like, okay, like you say, okay, this is like our sisterhood, but how? Like we go through postpartum depression. You guys can't go through shit like that, or if we get raped, you know what I'm saying? It's a possibility we might get pregnant. You guys don't go through that. So it's just like some women may feel like, okay, how can we be a sisterhood?
That's understandable.
You know what I'm saying?
And I was speaking more in terms of just, sexualization, like, walking down the street, catcalling, also being,
Got it.
being viewed as sometimes a sexual object instead of a person at first. And I do feel that a lot of women can feel that way.
Right.
So I do believe that is true. But yes, to your point, we have not, I don't know, I will never know how it feels to be a pregnant woman. I'll never know how it feels to go through postpartum depression. That's something that I'll never know.
Got it. So, what? So you mentioned you feel like you was always in the wrong body, right?
Yes.
So what age were you?
Age, I'm going to say about like, I don't remember. It was like probably like 8.
8?
That's what I can remember. I think it might have been before that as well, especially with playing with Barbie dolls and things like that. I was always more like wanting to be with my female cousins than male. Like they were like jumping off of walls and stuff and playing with WWE action figures. I didn't want to do any of that. I wanted to go play with Barbie dolls and I wanted to just like, do those things.
So when you was playing with Barbie dolls and stuff like that, like you said you grew up with a masculine father, right? Mm-hmm. Your father never told you, hey, what the hell you doing? Or,
well, I never played with him at home. It was more like at my cousins' houses. And if I had like, girl cousins, I would play with them with the Barbie dolls. I never had a Barbie doll at home. Yeah, growing up.
Okay. Like I said, like when I was doing certain things with my sister, my dad would like, hold on, what we doing?
Yeah.
So that's
I can understand that, especially as black men do.
Yeah, no, definitely. So like, you ain't never slept with a woman before? You ain't never...
I have never slept with a woman. I have, in middle school, I've dated women, yes.
Well, I mean, maybe if you would have tested out.
And I don't want to say that because I feel that, you know what you like. I can ask you the same, have you slept with a man?
Nah.
Okay, and would you ever?
Absolutely.
Because you don't know if you might like it.
Nah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Nah.
So it's kind of the same thing. Like, I feel like you kind of know what you're attracted to from the beginning of really time. And I've always known, and even like when I did have like those little, stupid relationships in middle school I used to have with girls, it was like always, like I remember one time I bought her, one of my girlfriends, I bought her a present.
Okay.
And I bought her, it was a Kelly Rowland CD.
Yeah.
And it was Rihanna's perfume. It was called Rebel something. Okay. And when I'm buying this stuff, I'm literally buying it like I would like this. Yeah. And it was so crazy to me. It was like, it wasn't crazy, but it was like, at the time, I didn't realize that's what I was doing, but I knew that like that's what I was doing because we broke up and I ended up using it on myself. And I like played the music and I was like, I was smelling it like I would wear this. Yeah.
Okay. So, what age were you when you made that transition?
That transition, I'm going to say, I don't even know, maybe like 15, 16. Yeah.
That age?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to a Pride camp, and I ended up...
They got a Pride camp?
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure they still have it. It was at UWM, Milwaukee.
Oh, okay,
yep.
Okay.
And I went there when I was younger, and there was a woman there who is a doctor, and she does trans-specific care and just gender reconforming care. And she helped me with my transition.
Oh, so she can, like give you medicine, shit like that too. Oh, hey, I was gonna ask, when you take hormones. The medicine, is that like for the hormones, right? Mm-hmm. Is that like a side effect? Should I get hit like?
I only had like when I first took it, I had like I don't know, it felt like a vein was running down my arm. I don't know, it felt like a shock, not a shock, but like I felt something like beep or like pulsate. That was it. I don't think I get many others. Maybe like sometimes I am more emotional. Yeah, I can say that.
Okay, I was curious. So, do you feel like you was born? Because at first, for any person who transitions to a man or a woman, they have to be gay first, right?
No.
Okay.
I thought I was gay because I didn't know what trans was. So then when I found out what trans was, I realized I'm really just a heterosexual trans woman.
Got it. So you feeling like you was, feeling like you was in the wrong body. Do you feel like... So I'm going to say this. You choosing who you're attracted to. You attracted to men, right?
I don't think I chose it. I think it chose me. Yeah.
Let me finish my question. Damn. So do you feel you was born this way? Or do you feel like it was a choice?
No, it was not a choice. I think I said that. I don't think it's a choice at all. I think it's definitely born that way, Okay. It's like, have you always felt that you were, a cisgender male? Have you ever thought you were trans?
Nah, not to my knowledge.
Okay, you would know that. And maybe not because you would have to do that, digging on your own. But what I would say is that, I feel like people pretty much know what they like and what they don't like growing up.
Yeah,
immediately.
true. I agree to
Yeah.
that. I agree with that to a degree. And that's why I said I want you to correct me. What I'm
Right.
about to say.
Okay.
I don't believe you can be born away. I don't believe you could be born gay. I believe it's a choice. I believe there's a reason for everything in life. You know what I'm saying? And like, I know some people be like, "Well, did you choose? Did you was born to like women?" Like, nah. It's just, I make that decision because this is my opinion. I want you to correct me. I'm gonna keep saying that. Like, I believe when I say there's a reason, whether this is not always true, but sometimes a person can, not saying this is you, but sometimes a person can be molested, or sometimes a person may see something they like, or whatever, that they may be attracted to that gender. I don't believe you can just be born a certain way. There's a reason for everything in life. There's a choice of everything in life, and behind that choice, you have to be happy with that choice, and as long as that make you happy, that's all that matters. But that's just
Okay.
my opinion, though.
So you're saying that you have to go through some form of sexual assault, willing, or like a sexual, what's the word? Sexual abuse to be
To a degree,
a certain thing.
To a degree, I won't say all the time, but
Okay.
I don't think you can just. But like, I like men or I like women. Like, nah, I feel like.
So you feel like are you saying that that's the reason why you are attracted to women?
Because what? Like, because what? What you trying to say? Go ahead.
Like, is that like sexual abuse?
No, because that's what I always been attracted to. So just,
Okay.
that's what I just like what I like. Because I'm
Right.
gonna keep it real. Like, things I'm not gonna say on camera, but things happened to me as a child that I could have choose that route of liking men, but I choose like no, I like women. So just that's why I said like I believe there's a choice of everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Understandable. So you're saying that when you did go through those things,
Yeah.
they could have made you attracted to men.
Yeah. To a
Okay.
degree, yeah, to a degree.
Okay. So what I'll say is there are a lot of trans women who have never been sexually assaulted, and there are a lot of trans women who have been sexually assaulted, and they both feel that they were always born women. So like
Yeah.
when I was like second grade or so, I remember like I would walk down the hallway, and I was a kid. And this is before any trauma, before any bullying or any judgment. I would walk down the hallway with my coat as my hair. Like, I would literally walk down the hall with the coat as my hair, and I would act like I am a woman without even knowing that I'm even doing it. It was just like the certain things that I always gravitated towards without even knowing it. And I'm saying like that's in that blissful, just like naivety stage,
Right.
where
But-
you don't even know what you're doing.
I don't want to correct myself. I'm not saying you have to be sexually assaulted to become, but it can be that. It could be the media. It could be, your upbringing. It could be, if you was raised with a bunch of women and you see that around, like I'll use you correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not saying I don't know how you was raised, but you like that caught your attention even more of, damn, I like the Barbie dolls. I like the feminine style.
Well, I think, like you said, you were exposed to feminine things as well. You said you played with, women clothing and stuff when you were little. So I'm saying, like, your dad, your father, your parents only have so much control over you after a certain time.
I
So
agree to
you
that.
immediately could have transitioned into a woman if that's what you want to do, or cross-dressed and dressed as a woman when you felt like it.
True.
So I'm saying, like, it's basically we're all exposed to certain things, and we all. I feel like it's not really a choice. I feel like that's just it's what you are.
But you don't. But see, I feel like that's why. But you kind of like taking the words out of my mouth, but you're not saying it though. Because I said it because you become what you expose. It's just back to
But you didn't become trans.
But no, but I didn't want. That's not what I want to choose. That's
Okay,
as I
so
got
you're saying you
older-
chose that.
Yeah, because as I got older,
Okay.
I made a decision on how I want to live my life and how I want to go about things, and I made peace of what I wanted to do.
Well, I don't feel it's like choosing a bag of chips. You know what I mean? It's not like I want hot flamers or Lay's.
Okay.
I don't think it's like that. I think it's more like psychological, and it's more just. I really believe it's how you're born. I really do believe some people are born that way, because honestly, no one would choose the hatred or the misgendering, the disrespect that we go through as trans women and trans men. I don't think that anyone would choose that. You know what I mean? I do think it may choose you then, because it's like,
Yeah.
I feel that God gave me that.
Right.
And I feel like God may have gave you, a cis male role.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get what you're saying. But, I just feel like we all have a free will. And then we just, it's in whatever we exposed to, whatever, whether that's good or bad, you know what I'm saying? Shit, it's just all on you how you want to live your life. 'Cause there's a lot of people who been exposed to good stuff about following God or how to go about things, but people choose to or want to do what they want to do. They be opposites of the good things that was taught. So that's just my perspective.
I understand.
But what I want to ask is, when you make that transition, how did your family accept you?
Oh, so like I said previously, like my family was very accepting of me being trans, and also me, like when I thought I was gay, they were very accepting. So like they've just been some of the most loving, caring people for me.
That's good.
And also like in school, so it was more like I didn't want to be like, I didn't want to be gay. I didn't want to be any of those things because I felt that like I knew what was talked about in school. I knew that it was not a positive, thing when someone says they're gay. It wasn't like, oh my God, you're gay, yay.
Yeah,
it was
especially,
like, you gay. Like it was like, it was like a lot of those things. And it was like also jokes like no homo. And it was things like you gay and things like that. And it was always a negative light. So I'm like, I want to be that. I want to be a target. But then when I went home and my parents, knew that I was gay, they were very accepting. And I was kind of like, in denial of it because I knew that I knew the trauma that it could bring, but slowly I started to accept myself and and realize who I was as a trans woman and not as a gay person.
That's good. So when you were making that transition, you said you were about 15, 16 when you made that transition. How was the treatment you were receiving from your peers in school?
Oh,
and stuff like that?
okay. So like I came out as gay in 7th grade at first. So I came out in 7th grade, yeah. So I've been in this a minute, yeah.
Oh, shit.
So like when I came out, I was like one of the first. And like when I came out, it was kind of not in the way I would have liked it. It was more like I had a boyfriend and like, we were kissing in the hallway. And
people would like see y'all doing
people saw it in the hallway. And they were like, what the? Like they were like, because that wasn't something, like I said, it's taboo. It's not really, shown. So they were like, what in the world? So when I came out as gay, because someone asked me, and I said, yeah, I'm gay. And they, like, it spread. It was like, oh, my gosh. And I remember this day. I was sitting in the gym, and I was, like, sitting on the bleachers by myself, and I just started crying. And it was in front of everybody. And I was just crying because because before I came out, there was always speculation. They were always like, are you gay, all that? And I was like, nah, you know what I mean? Yeah. I was having my little girlfriends and stuff, trying my best. And, I was still like fitting in. I was still having friends. I was still like going to, the little parties we were having and stuff. I was still like, doing those things. But when I came out, it was like Thanos. It was like, flip of a wrist. And it was like all my so-called friends went away. And then, but I did have moments of like having, some type of friendships and stuff, but they weren't really real. But like, it was really hard. But to get back to your point of being, when I came out as trans, and that was like, I believe, no one really cared as much anymore because they were kind of like, well, when I slowly started to do it though, when I slowly started like wear nails and stuff and things like that, it was more like, what the hell? Because people in my school, no other person that was, born male was doing those things.
Yeah, and then too, look, you just being 7th grade, just coming out as being gay, like that's, whew.
Yeah.
I remember me being 7th grade. I ain't gonna lie, like I'm not saying I was a bully, but I was a jokester for real. So we always had that one person in our class from like, oh, dude gay, so we would crack jokes unknowingly. So I only can imagine.
Yeah, I was definitely. There were so many times where like I would be in class and like the whole class is laughing at me. Like it was so many times like that. I remember I used to hide in the bathrooms for gym because I was going through so much. And like the security guard would just come and get me and they would not say nothing. Like they did never help me really. It was a bad situation. I would like leave And I think, I don't know if this was after I came out as trans, it was just going downhill. But like,
Yeah.
but you know, when I started wearing feminine clothing and stuff like that as well, and I don't know where it was God. So I'm saying like the strength that I had, because I don't know how I got it. And I had some amazing, I have to say, my family was phenomenal, and they are phenomenal, because I don't know if I'd have made it without them. But you know, just having their support was amazing. But I do remember when I was like wearing feminine things and I was finding out who I really was. It was like, you know, I could walk down the hallway, someone's laughing at me. I remember I could be in like choir class and someone's recording me from behind and they're saying, "What is this?" And then I find out, like, someone tells me that I'm being posted on Snapchat. And, you know, it was a lot of that.
You ain't never try to whoop their ass?
I've had like plenty fights. I've had like, oh my God, I've had like over 10 fights in school. And I remember one time there was a fight. I almost got jumped. You know, it's another story. So, yeah.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Like, nah, this might sound crazy, but like, and I ain't trying to sound ignorant, but one thing, like, did you win your fights?
Sometimes.
No, because no, I like. Okay, I don't want to sound too ignorant.
Did you win all your fights?
Nah,
Okay.
some I did, but no, but see, like, I don't see my ignorance finna kick in, but like, I will never fight a gay person because it's like they just have some, not all, but like they just got some, they just strong out of nowhere. Hell yeah, like shit, like I'm gonna be straightforward, you know. And I don't want to offend no one, but like I will never fight a gay person just because, like, you gotta understand, like, damn, Kadeem, I'm not gonna say all that, but I'm gonna say it. I feel like this. Men, right? I will never fight a gay person. I wouldn't want to fight a gay person because, you know, they do certain sexual activities, meaning as like if they get bent over and they can take that inside their.
Wait.
I don't want to see.
I'm confused. So are you saying like you feel like they may sexually abuse you or something?
Nah,
okay, I'm confused.
I don't want to like get flagged or. No, I'm gonna be straightforward. Basically, some gay men can fucking ass, all right? So they can take a punch, they can, you know what I'm saying? That has to, like, and I'm not saying I got fuck my ass, I don't fucking know, but I'm just saying, like, they can, if they can take dick in the ass, they can take a punch.
Okay, so to say that is, you know, I don't know.
Crazy,
but
yeah, go ahead.
I'm
not
gonna
saying that
say
was you. I'm not saying that was you in that.
No, not at all. So as a, you know, I'm going to say, do you feel that cis women who are born women, that they take penis in their vagina, are they stronger than too?
Well, they strong? I mean, I don't fucking know, but I'm just looking at it from a male's perspective.
Okay, so you feel that because they have that type of sex that they're stronger than you? So do you feel gay men are stronger than you?
I won't say that, but shit, I know they can take a fucking punch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying that you do feel that they are stronger.
I ain't gonna say they stronger. I'm not saying they stronger.
So what makes you feel that, like, so you're saying that, like, explain to me what you're saying, because I'm confused.
Because I'm saying if a gay man take dick in his ass, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit.
Where have you got that conclusion?
Well, how I got that conclusion. So like I said, I ain't never experienced it myself. So a lot of people may think he.
So how would you know?
Because that has to be. I'm pretty sure that has to be painful. Imagine something gets stuck in your ass. That has to be painful for any male or female. So
How would you know if you never tried it?
But I mean, it makes sense though. You really think about it.
So, do you feel that it's also painful when it comes to a cisgendered woman?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
I mean,
do you feel like
I
they're
ain't gonna lie,
stronger for
like,
that?
when I was having sex with the girl I was dealing with, we tried anal. She was like, she wasn't digging it. It was like, I feel like she got stabbed. She said. So I only can imagine how it is for
So
a
you
man.
feel that because they can take, you know, whatever you're saying, and some, you know, there's tops and there are bottoms, so there are specifics. So every gay person is not, you know, receiving. They can be giving.
Yeah,
so do you feel the same way about that too? The ones that give?
Nah, I don't know because
you wouldn't know from just walking by a gay person and knowing that.
See, it's just back to what people.
So I think it's ignorance.
Yeah, open it. You finna say the words in my mouth. It's just like people might look at it as ignorance. Like if I see a gay person, I'm gonna think you doing the bidding or you doing. It may be happening to you both because just like how do you get set? You know how do you get your self-ification, however you say that word. But I don't know. I don't never look into deep or try to do my research. I don't care. But that's just my thoughts. That
I think you care.
Why you feel like I think I care?
Because you're bringing that up. And I feel that I've never heard that one before. So, you know, I don't know.
If I care, I would ask more detail. So how did
Okay.
you? Yeah, it's just a thought. It's just like, damn, okay, I had sex with women, right? So
Yes.
it was just like when I think about it now, it's just like I get my certification inside of a woman as blah, 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 I can't fucking talk. I get my certification being inside of a woman in her vagina. So I'm like, damn, how does a man get his certification inside of a man's butt? But that's not me. I don't care. You can answer, but that's not. I'm just my thought. You ain't got to break it down. But yeah.
Okay. I won't.
yeah. I was just curious. But now you said it was the black community that was making you feel like I'm finna say the wrong. I'm finna pronounce the wrong word. You being in the black community, it made you feel useless, make you feel less of yourself at one point, right?
Oh, definitely in school because they were hard. But I'm gonna say the black community in general, you know, can clown you for your shoes, can clown you for your clothes, can clown you for your hair sticking up. So I'm saying, like, you know, and being something that in the black community is so looked down upon. I'm not gonna say as of now it's better now because there are way more spaces in the black community that are more accepting.
I want to ask though, because you've been so young and you came out. What's your sexuality at that young age? Like, did you was battling with depression? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did that affect you mentally?
At first, when I first came out, I didn't give a F. I was like, this is who I am. You know what I mean? Accept me for who I am. I don't care. But like, as it went on, I said, okay, this is getting a little out of hand. Like, okay, y'all still coming for me. And it's been like, you know, over a year. You know, it became, you know, where I did have to, you know, get, you know, professional help. I had to go into, you know, some treatment places and stuff for bullying.
Man,
and
that shit crazy.
Yeah, I had a lot of, you know, things that were going on with me that I had to deal with that were caused by bullying. You know, so I'm saying, like, when people think that, you know, bullying is, I'm just talking, but you don't know how that could affect somebody.
I agree.
You know, but I do think kids are kids, and I do feel like we all have said things that may not be the nicest when we were kids to each other, because we, you know.
And were you was going through that? So you been in 7th grade, and you was going through that. Did that carry it on when you got into high school too?
What? Did what carry on?
Like getting
the bullying
and stuff like that?
So I went to online schooling for a little bit, so I really wasn't in school as much, but I did go to Alliance High School, so shout out Alliance.
Okay.
And that's kind of like an LGBTQ supposed to be school. And like, you know, I went there for a little bit, and it was like the first time like I was around like my people, like since, I mean, before like I came out as, you know, gay, but I'm not gay. And it was really accepting, and it was really nice, and, you know, but I was just really overwhelmed, and I had to go to online.
Makes sense. That makes sense. And I want to ask you then, like, what's your opinion when? So you saying that your parents allow you to wear feminine clothes in 7th grade, right?
Okay, not 7th grade, because I was still technically thought I was gay. So I didn't start wearing feminine clothing until about, I think 8th or 9th grade.
Oh, 8th and 9th grade.
Or 9th grade, I'll say. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you this. So, before I even ask you, do you think that brought more trauma to you by starting so young, wearing feminine clothes?
Well, what I'm going to say is I do believe that I made the correct decision, definitely, with starting to transition younger. Because I do feel that if I would have got older and I would have transitioned as I got older, I'd have been miserable. I would have been more miserable. Yes, I probably would have been more accepted by society, and I might have not went through as much bullying, but I would have been so miserable. But I definitely did go through way more, like I told you, when they were recording me from behind saying, what is this? Crazy. You know? So I do, looking back on it now, I can see that we all were young and ignorance. Once again, I was a lot of people's first experiences with seeing someone like me. So, because they thought I was a drag queen. Literally, I remember I was walking the hallway and she said, "Are you a drag queen?" Because literally the ignorance was that we young. So it's like whatever you see on TV is what you think it is.
So let me ask you this then: what's your perspective of parents allowing their children to transition at a young age?
Well, I'm going to say each their own, but I'm going to say to make sure that you do explain to your child that
Right.
what can happen, how your body will change. Also, get them therapy because I did go through therapy before I did transition. I spoke with a
Right.
professional. Also making sure that you are aware that there are. I'm not gonna say everybody because there are, you know, experiences out there who people did grow up and they didn't experience what I experienced, like the traumatic experiences and things of that nature. But I would explain to them that it may be people who don't accept you for who you are.
Right.
But I also would tell them that, if this is what you have felt, and how long have you felt it? You know what I mean?
Right.
If you felt this for so long and you're miserable, I mean, crying to me, like you're like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Yes, and I'll take the precautions. If you have a child out there, I'm gonna say this to any parent that has a child that is trans or they are transitioning, you don't know what to do. I'm gonna say that create safety for them because the world may not do it, especially if they're young.
I agree.
Maybe going to online schooling for a while will help. Maybe making sure they have a therapist. Things of that nature because it definitely helps.
So what age requirement you think a child should be to? Not even say a child.
To like what do it?
What's the age requirement you think a person should be in order to make that transition?
I'm gonna say 16.
16.
Yeah.
Okay. I might, for me, I see. I don't live that, so I can't say. But my perspective, I believe it got to at least be 18 because when you at a certain age, you really don't know what you really like. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me say this. I'm not saying like you never know how you're gonna feel when you get to a certain age.
Right.
Because I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna use myself. When I was at a certain age, I thought I loved skinny girls. When I got older, I don't like a skinny girl. I mean, I do, but you know what I'm saying. But as I got older, I know what I like. You know what I'm saying? I got a whole foot fetish. All you know what I mean? Yeah, ain't no shame in my game. But my point I'm saying is to say it's like, I feel that you have to be at least 18, in my opinion.
Why you feel that way?
Because that's when they're at that age where they can make their own decision. They out of high school. They can actually know if that's truly what they really truly want. Or if it's not 18, they might want to wait when they in their adults. You know what I'm saying? When they be in their 20s. But because just like we all might have a change of heart. So if a child decides to, I'm finna get my penis cut off. I'm gonna,
Well, no. So I'm gonna say, just like not to cut you off, but like I don't think at 16 you should be getting like irreversible surgery.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you should be getting your penis cut off or anything like that. But I do believe that you can start wearing feminine clothing.
Oh, okay. See, I'm glad.
Yeah, I don't mean
down.
like.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say if you like I say if you take all the precautions and you explain everything, you get a therapist, you get all those things in order, and you know what can happen and all those things, you can take hormones. I'm gonna say that, but you're not going to cut anything off. That's not what I would do. Because I do feel that, that is very, very extreme for such a young age.
Yeah, because there's parents who allow their kids to, do that.
Well, I'm not sure they allow them to do that, but they may allow them to take hormones.
No, I've seen. I was talking to an interview. I haven't really looked into it and didn't do my research, but I was watching the interview. This guy saying that how I think a guy had changed his sex, and then he. Some can't convert back. And they end up killing themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of people.
But I don't know how. Like I said, I don't.
Right. I have seen. It's just like someone being straight and then they go gay, like they say, or someone could be gay and then they're straight now. So it really is. Some people don't really know who they are.
Right.
I guess when they are younger. When some people do.
Do you think the media push the gay agenda a lot?
I don't think they push it. I think it's more accepting now. Because I know a lot of people like me would have loved to have more representation growing up. Because it was difficult not seeing yourself on TV.
Got it. It makes sense. Makes sense. I kind of feel like it is to a degree. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I think that's a lot. This is why I believe a lot of parents, a lot of people in general have a problem with it. It's like, for me, I don't have nothing against gays. Like, gay, trans, whatever. I treat people how they want to be treated. Now, I ain't say I treat them how they want to be treated. I treat people how I want to be treated. So I'm going to be respectful and I'm going to be mindful of what I say. But the problem sometimes I have is when the media pushes it on young children.
Okay.
That's where it's just like, because it may be, that's the part I was kind of like, I don't know about that part.
Do you think they're pushing the straight agenda?
Nah, I think they push more gay gender than straight. In my opinion.
Okay,
Like I
so
feel like it's not enough masculine. If I'm saying the right word, in the media, it's more feminine in the media.
because I
than
see a
masculine.
lot of shows and commercials that portray heterosexual female and male, so I could say they're pushing a straight agenda.
And then if it is, then sometimes.
So why aren't people being more straight?
Well, sometimes it depends on, you know what I'm saying, like what you see. Like I could be in a commercial or I could be in a magazine, which I have no problem with, but like I could see a black man with a white woman.
Right.
Right? Or sometimes I could see two white couples. Which is it's nothing against, you love who you love, but it's just like, okay, where's the black love at? Why is that not enough? Why like okay, if we're gonna push this gay agenda, which is cool, push it then. Okay, let's push more. Let's be balanced with it. Let's push black love.
I feel like they're pushing gay agendas if they are. They're pushing straight agendas. They're pushing, maybe interracial love agendas. They're pushing all the agendas, I think.
You think so?
So I do feel that I think you're going to focus on what you don't like. So if you're saying that, they're pushing a gay agenda, if you say things that are in your terms gay, you're going to be like, oh, I noticed that more because I don't like that. Yeah. It's just like a person who maybe doesn't like interracial relationships. Right. They may notice, oh, that's an interracial relationship. I don't like that. You know what I mean? So I do think that it is that. So it comes back to ignorance. It comes back to seeing something that you're not down with. You know what I mean? So I think if you live it, then it's just,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. No, definitely. So what is your opinion of like a trans wanting to play in women's sports? Do you think it's right?
I do believe that trans women should have their own sport leagues because I do believe that we are more stronger than a cisgender woman just from birth but on hormones we are less stronger because of the hormones and they can change, some softness and things of that nature and strength. But I do believe that we should have our own team. So I do believe, no, we should not be competing with cisgender women in, competitive sports. Now, if it's, something that's like checkers or something, that's okay. But if it's like racing, then no.
Oh, you funny. You said checkers. That's funny. Yeah, but okay. Because, I seen that was Trump when he made that, he passed that bill, a lot of people wasn't too happy about that. You know what I'm saying? So,
the bill that says that trans women can't be in cisgender sports?
Yeah,
I think the reason why people may be upset with that is because of who he is. He's already made so many claims about not believing trans people and believing that they're, that they are trans and that's a real thing. Yeah. So I do believe that, anything that comes from him, we're not going to like. Like, it's,
Yeah, I agree to that.
I do believe that. So I do believe that he saying that statement is coming from someone who's already ignorant, who doesn't love us, who doesn't care for us, who's taken our rights, who's tried to take our health care, who's tried to take so many things away from us that, of course, I don't want to hear you say that.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear it.
So basically, it's like how they say, right message but wrong messenger.
Wrong person, yes, wrong person, definitely. Okay. But I do believe that there are trans women who don't believe that. They don't believe that we should be separated in that way. Yeah. But I do believe that it should be. But now when it comes to other things like modeling, things like that, we should be included. We should definitely be one and one, universal. Let's see what's
because when you say sports, your height, I think you'd be a nice point guard, center.
I have heard that in the past. I don't play sports, but tennis is one.
Okay.
I could do tennis, yes.
Okay. So things,
and modeling.
So before we even switch topics, like, the things that you went through as far as with your trauma and being bullied, how do you deal with your trauma now since you're older? How old are you now?
I'm 24.
24. So how do you deal with that trauma now since, you're an adult?
Well, I'm in therapy, and I think everybody should be in therapy. And I don't care if you've been through, a whole bunch of trauma or just a little bit of trauma. I feel like everybody can benefit from therapy because there's things that you're doing that you may not even know that are hurting you, that are not helping you, how you're speaking to people. So I'm dealing with it in therapy and also just, taking care of myself, doing things like this, being more open to sharing my story and things like that. just and also realizing like, a lot of my trauma was coming from people who were kids like I was. And I know that a lot of times, as kids, you can be ignorant, you can be, just saying whatever. So I'm trying to, realize that,
Have you forgave them? Like, the kids that bullies you and
it goes back and forth from forgiving because
1 minute you be cool and 1 minute you be mad about the shit.
Yeah. And I've actually seen one of them at my job since then. And it was like, it was a shocker. It was like, oh my God. I was like checking him out. But then I was checking out the cash register. But then like once they left, I didn't really care. It was like, oh, okay. So it's like,
got it.
A lot of it is, like I said, you have to do the trauma work, therapy. I think that's for everybody.
I agree. I've been in therapy. That's helped me out tremendously.
You're in therapy as well?
Yeah, it helped me to look at things from a different perspective. Because sometimes I could be caught up in my own feelings.
Yes.
And not looking at it as, okay, that person was probably going through something in that moment. But us being human, we still be stuck in our own feelings.
Yeah.
And I got to give all glory to God, too, to help me to give me clarity on that, too, to understand.
Yeah, I didn't mention God. I don't know why I didn't mention God. But good? Yes, God as well. God is definitely someone who has been, like, I think I did mention it because I said, did I mention it? I don't know. But I know that he did get me through a lot of it.
Nah, for real.
When I was younger.
Hell yeah.
And now.
And that's why I said things I went through, like, I could have killed myself and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But God definitely got me out of that bad headspace. And what I want to ask you too, like, which one do you believe is harder, being black in America or being a trans in America?
I'm gonna say they're not hard. I'm gonna say that it's unfair a lot of times for both.
You think it's even? Or
I don't think it's even. I think that systematically, I'm going to say being trans is probably worse.
I say that.
Because I feel that, like...
And when you say systematically...
Yeah.
Explain.
A lot of trans women, I feel like, not a lot, but some of them, a lot of trans women, I feel that they do sex work, and that is because a lot of times in employment, we are not hired because we are trans and because of ignorance, and people don't want to work with a trans person, things of that nature. So I do believe that it can be harder for that. I haven't had that experience personally, but I do feel that it can be it can be harder.
Harder?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of people might disagree with you on that part.
Really? What they gonna say?
Because some might feel like being black is much harder.
Why?
Because of just the treatment. People may feel because of police brutality. The way how the white power structure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people might have a different perspective.
It's probably because being black has never been like hard for me. It's never been like when I walk in a room, I see my people. Okay. You know what I mean? I can see myself. And then I've never had that, issue with that.
And then too, like, sometimes when somebody hear you say that, then they might feel offended by that.
Why?
Because it's like, it may offend someone who's still stuck in that victim mentality. Some black people are stuck in that victim mentality where they feel like they use a race as an excuse of why they going.
No, I said that in the beginning. Systematic racism and stuff like that. Those structures, I do believe that it's still in place.
So there's people who think like who believe the same as you do. So when they hear,
go ahead.
No, what I'm saying. So when they hear you say that, then they're gonna sometimes might get offended. Like, hold on, how we been hung, we've been, you know what I'm saying? So
we have. Yeah. But I'm saying currently. I'm not saying like.
Well, my bad. I shouldn't. But I'm saying, but in a way, they still are being hung, but it might not be the way how they did it back in the 60s or 50s, but they being hung.
I was speaking like from my experience. I wasn't speaking like, I wasn't speaking like in terms of like everything.
Okay, my bad.
So, so I can understand what you're saying in that sense. But definitely, like I said, it's systematic racism, but like I can go get a job with my people and I can succeed. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to mess with anyone who doesn't like me because of my skin color. You know what I mean? I can go in communities specifically for me and be good. I can be around my people. You know what I mean? But being trans, sometimes I can go into a random grocery store, I don't see nobody that is trans. You know what I'm saying? But being black, we everywhere. I can never feel like, I'm not, well, we're not everywhere because there's sometimes when I go to work and it's like all these white people.
Right.
And it's like, it's hard. You know what I mean? But like I can go down the street, wherever I may be, and I can see my people and I can feel that. Okay, this is my spot.
Definitely.
But it's like definitely like when I'm like, if I'm looking for a trans person, it could be, where's Waldo? So definitely it's hard.
So I want to ask you this. Do you think black church plays a role in how trans people are treated?
The black church, I don't know. The black church is controversial because I feel that sometimes it can cause more harm than good. You know what I mean? Especially for like, I'm going to say just how judgmental it can be. Like a person can't walk into church and, wear what they want to wear sometimes because they're like, oh, what you got on and this and that. Or a person can't, or they judge. So especially the ones who go really deep into it, they're like judging someone if they're drinking, if they have tattoos, if they have had sex without, before marriage, things of that nature. So I do feel that I don't like how judgmental that is.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I do feel that, because I've been in churches, black churches too, that are very accepting of me. So I've actually had that experience where they are accepting, but there is still ignorance. It's like they're trying, but they're also like, I don't really understand. But like, I accept you. And I think a lot of black churches, a lot of churches in general are getting better at like, come as you are. We're accepting. But I do think in the past, yes, it was definitely, because it's not as, I'm not sure if that's because they really trying to get better with that, or there's more like they know that it's not accepted as much.
Right.
So I don't know.
See, yeah, no, some church people, they be, I shouldn't have, okay, lost my train of thought, but some church people, they are like that, especially they coming from a black church, you know what I'm saying? Like they can be very judgmental sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
They can be very opinionated, but I believe that's not how God will want us to treat each other.
Right.
You
But
know what I'm saying? But I believe
man.
I believe God would want us to I believe God would want us to love one another and accept people for who they are, because you don't know their story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's in the Bible, and I feel like everybody pays so much attention to, being gay is a sin, but they're not paying attention to, there's other sins in the Bible too that people do. There's tattoos. There is sometimes, I think, wearing red lipstick, wearing dresses that don't go below the knee. There is also, sex before marriage, drinking to excess, even gluttony, going to a buffet, eating in excess.
Yeah.
Things of that nature, cussing, swearing,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things in the Bible that no one is following.
Right.
A lot of people are not following those things I just said.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I said, like, when my grandmother always said, when you got one finger pointing at you, I forgot how she said it, but when you point at one finger, you got two fingers pointing at you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, that's why I say it's best for us to love one another and educate. And
you can't throw rocks in a glass house.
Exactly. And also, too, you gotta, you gotta accept for people who they are. If they want to be that way, if that's not, stopping you from getting money or stopping you from being happy, you know what I'm saying? But I can understand why people be really upset, because they just feel like, it just goes back to what I said. It's the media that control these young people's minds and have them, they trying to make shit normal that it's not normal.
What?
So people don't believe that's normal to see a man wearing a dress. People don't believe it's seeing, the same sex in the same relationship.
So I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
So like on TV and stuff and like music videos, do you see a lot of guns and stuff?
That's not normal. That's not
okay. But does that make you want to go buy a gun and tote it around?
I'm not gonna lie, it would.
It would. Okay,
but for a young person mind, that's why a lot of things plays a role. The music, the media, all that plays a role. And when you're not spiritually strong, it may lead you to do certain things that it's not approval in God's eyes. And I'm not saying the worldly eyes. I'm talking about in God's eyes.
Okay, so like in God's eyes. So like people get tattoos, they drink.
No, I agree.
They smoke.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's not approval in God's eyes.
It's not.
That's what I'm saying. So that plays a role of what I'm saying.
So we're all sinners.
Yeah, we definitely all sinners. Yeah. We're all born sinners.
Exactly.
You know
so it's like, you can't judge somebody
You're right.
when you're sinning yourself.
I agree to that.
You know what I mean?
I agree to that.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, when you point at the finger, you got two fingers pointing at you.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, like, I believe that, we all have to, shit.
And I don't even think who wrote the Bible, because I don't know if was it God? Did God write the Bible?
Well, I mean, I'm not.
So I don't know who wrote it.
See, I don't want to sound ignorant, but like, no, you're wrong. I look at the Bible like more like a history book, like you know what I'm saying. So it's just like,
And I think you have your own personal relationship with God.
Yeah.
So I feel like my God may be different than your God. My God accepts me. My God loves me. My God helps me. My God gets me through a lot. My God,
yeah,
you know what I
and
mean?
that's the same God I believe. Like God
Right.
sets for people who you are, come as you are. But it's not for us or other people to
Yeah.
judge others and say that's not right because God doesn't like
But
that.
some other people, their God says, they're more stricter. Their God is like, don't drink or smoke or.
Yeah, no, yeah, but
know.
I mean, that's how. But see, here's the thing. That's how. This is my opinion. That's how God is. God wouldn't want you to. Your body is your temple, so God wouldn't want you to do certain things that He don't approve of. But at the end of the day, we have a free will.
I know it's crazy because like I remember, I think that's why I don't know, but I know that when I first got my ears pierced, I didn't want to do it at first because I was like, this is a sin. I don't want to get my ears pierced. You know what I mean?
That, yeah.
So like it's those things, that does happen.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna
that-
say that don't don't judge each other because we're all going through it.
Definitely.
We are all going through it. We are all going through different things, homelessness, maybe poverty.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things that as human race, we are a lot alike. We go through the same things. A lot of times we go through the same things, same emotions.
I don't agree. This my I got a couple last questions before we wrap it up. So, what's your take on the whole download culture? Have you been in them type of situations?
Like with a man, what do you mean? Explain.
Like, some men hide what they like.
Some women do too.
Yeah. Well, I don't download. We're gonna speak from a man perspective.
I get you. Okay.
So some men hide what they like.
Yeah.
So had there been a man who tried to hide you in the light?
There have been men who have tried that, but they were not successful. Because I'm not the type of person that will be hidden.
Yeah.
I'm a person, now I don't know if when I go on my dates, when I've been on dates and things of that nature, that their friends or family knew that they were out with a trans woman and they were like specifying, telling people I'm going out with a trans woman. You know what I mean? So in that terms, I don't know. But I'm saying like in terms of like going to your house, don't tell nobody about this. Things like that are things that I don't want to experience because it's hurtful.
And you never experienced that, you said?
No.
Oh, okay. So from you outside looking in, I'm pretty sure you may heard or witnessed people who go through this. But why do men be on the down low?
I'm gonna say once again, it's like what I went through my whole life. It's as a child. Like the ignorance and the bullying. They don't want to be scrutinized. A lot of people, especially in our community, when someone's gay or anything like that, it's negative. It's not like, oh, you're gay, yay. It's like, what's wrong with you? Because, like I said, this goes back to it. A lot of those, men who are down low, what I've noticed is that they're with trans women and the women are very beautiful. They're very pretty. They're very feminine. They're attracted to women. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just, they'll think that just because they're with a trans person that they're gay when they're not gay.
Yeah.
Or may not be. I don't know.
I see. Yeah, no, I've been witnessed like different men who've been exposed, especially here in Milwaukee. So I was like, damn, like.
Have you have any friends that are down low?
Hell, I mean, I don't know. No, I don't believe so. Nah. Most of my friends are married.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true, but nah.
Doesn't matter. But
Nah,
yeah.
yeah. Most like I don't really say too many people's my friends, but I can count on one hand who's my actual friend, and they like all married. Only one that's not married. My best friend, he's not married, but all of them damn near married with kids.
And I think down low also to stop down lowness. I don't know if that's a word. You really have to like be more accepting, be more like open and nicer and kinder, because then they don't feel like they have to hide it.
Okay, let me ask you this then. So, do you feel some type of way when women try to expose them?
I don't. Do I feel some way when they try to expose them? I'm going to say I do. I'm going to say
that?
publicly. I'm going to say like
Yeah. Why you say that?
I'm going to say if they can talk to them first to see like I know that you're this or that. You know, I accept you. Things like that. See if they'll do it on their own. You know what I mean? But then what I will say is if they're having unprotected sex with anyone, and that's not even just trans people, just anybody, and they're not, you know, exposing that, that can be harmful. So I'm saying in those cases, when they're passing diseases, I do
Right.
think that you need to say something because that's dangerous.
Yeah, and that's my part where I said,
Yeah.
like, I don't see nothing wrong with that because it's protecting the next woman, protecting the next man too. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I'm not saying this is right, but like, shit, everyone humping on each other.
Yeah.
Everyone use unprotected sex. You know what I'm saying? So a man can have sex with a woman unprotected, and he don't know that that woman been with another man who.
I
was
just
on
think,
the, you know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
I just think you should talk. If you can, speak to that person first.
Right.
And if they're denying it and stuff and you have evidence of it, then you're going to have to, you know, you might have to let the
Yeah.
world know because
I believe
especially
that.
if it's, like I said, if it's something that can negatively affect people
No, I agree to that.
sexually,
I agree to
you
that.
know,
I
or
agree to that. I agree to that. I
in
agree
their
with you 100%.
health.
Yeah, yeah. So this is my last question. What is your message to someone listening right now who's scared to be who they are?
In terms of what?
Just coming out, want to come out as gay, want
Okay.
to make that transition, but they too worry about being judged from their family, from their friends. You know,
Well,
in their community.
it kind of goes kind of with like what I said before about, you know, what would I tell someone that was, you know, transitioning or like wanting to as a young age. I'm going to say that, you know, talk to God. You definitely need to pray. You definitely need to speak to him and like ask him, you know, I'm going to say ask him not like, oh, you know, please take this away. None of that. But like, I want you to speak to God and I want you to talk to him and be like, you know, protect me in this, what I'm about to do. Protect me, help me get through it, help me to, you know, get through this. I'm going to say try to find community, and that's your LGBTQ plus centers.
Right.
You know, they're pretty much in every city. I don't know where you at, but, you know, you can Google that. You know, try to find communities. There's also, like, groups online, but be careful with that. But, you know, just using your resources, trying to find things that will help you feel better. Because, like me, you know, I kind of went into it in an unsafe environment, you know, where I was targeted. So that definitely will cause more trauma, definitely.
Right.
So what I'm going to say is to just be cautious of who you let, you know, see the parts of you that you may be scared to show because you know there'll be judgment. You know what I mean? So just make sure you find healthy outlets for it.
That's a good message. Now you mentioned about the trauma too, and I should have asked you this too. Like, what do you think society can do better to protect the transgenders?
Well, to protect them, I'm going to say to try to understand them like you're doing here. Try to understand and try to sympathize with them and know that we're all human. We're all struggling. We all, you know, go through maybe sadness, depressions, or anxieties. We all, you know, we're all trying to make it. We're all trying to live. So, you know, just what I would say is more understanding, less judgment, you know, because someone in your family could be trans. You know, you don't know who could be trans. Your child could be trans. You know what I mean? So it's like
I agree to that.
you really have to be cautious of the words you're using, even if you're just talking to a friend, because someone could overhear it. You know, we have to be more sensitive to others and to our, you know, I think that's what's important.
I agree to that. Well, that's all the questions I have. I really have a lot of respect for you because you live in your truth. You being who you are, and a lot of people don't do that. So, you know, when I see somebody who live in their truth, I got nothing but respect, and I admire
Appreciate
that.
it.
I admire that a lot. So keep doing what you're doing. You never know, we might can do another round.
Awesome.
You know what I'm saying?
And also follow me on Instagram at Victoria Giselle Music. Also my TikTok, we'll get that as well because I don't know the link. Yeah, I do.
Oh shit, I know that.
I do. I sing. I do poetry too. I've done stand-up poetry as well at, remember the Q? You know the Q? So the Q is like I'm shouting them out, but you know, they got robbed, I believe. So they kind of shut down for a little bit, but they still did like stand-up poetry there as well too.
Okay.
So yeah.
And I should have asked you before we wrap it up. How you feel about the pause game?
I don't know what that is.
Like no homo pause. Shit
Oh
like that.
yeah, I don't like that. Or no Diddy, right?
Yeah,
I don't
no,
like none of
you
that
don't like that?
stuff. No.
I was this close to saying it. Like we don't know another round. Paul, I'm like, oh shit. Maybe.
I do not like any of that stuff. I feel like I said, like watching what you say, being sensitive. Because when I was younger, you know, it was always, oh, you know, no homo, and that was
Yeah.
like, oh shit, I'm really not coming out now. You know what I mean? Like they saying all this, they like I ain't finna do this because it's not
Yeah.
accepting. So it's like,
Yeah.
and that can cause, you know, getting serious with it. You know, that can cause, you know, suicidal ideation. That can
Yeah.
cause, you know, prayed away, all those things. You know, and you can. It can turn really dark.
Okay. Yeah. I should. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now I'll be.
But yeah,
No, I had that hat. Like I'll be around a lot of petty people.
Mm-hmm.
So when I talk, I'm like pause or yeah.
I mean, when we
yeah,
all
okay.
like, you know, when we're in certain environments, we may say something that may not be politically correct, you know, just
Yeah.
messing around. But, you know, just when you're around people you may not know, you know what I mean? And people you may know because they may also, you know, people you saying no to could be gay or could be, you know,
Yeah, got it.
struggling.
Got it. Okay, cool. Well,
Yeah.
that's it, man. That's it. Like I said, wish you nothing but the best. And
Awesome.
yeah. You know, we're gonna have to. Whatever I can do to support you, let me know.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right.